Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down something called UIID. It's a whole new blueprint for digital identity, and honestly, it's all about one really big idea: taking the keys to your online life back from big tech and putting them right back in your pocket.
So let's just start with a really basic question, one that kind of gets to the heart of everything we do online. Think about it. Every single time you log in or sign up for a new service or just share something, who's really in control of that data? Is it you? Or is it the, hundreds of companies you're interacting with every single day?
Yeah, and this slide just lays it out perfectly, right? The how it is now versus the UID vision. Right now, on the left, our personal info is just everywhere. It's scattered across countless servers, and that basically makes us the product. But the vision here on the right, it flips that whole script. It imagines a world where your identity is locked away in a secure vault right on your own device. And in that world, you are the owner.
All right, so section 1, your identity, their servers. Let's really dig into the problem that UID is trying to solve here, because it's something we don't really think about, but the way our identity is handled online right now, it's just fundamentally broken. Let's break down exactly why.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Every single service you sign up for wants your PII, your personally identifiable information. You know, your name, your email, your birthday, all of it. And where does that data go? It gets stored on their servers. What you're really doing is creating these giant, centralized treasure chests of data that are basically just sitting there, waiting for hackers.
Okay, so if that's the problem, our data is just scattered everywhere, totally vulnerable, then what's the alternative? Well, that brings us to our next section, the promise of UIID. We're going to look at how this new framework wants to completely rebuild online trust right from the ground up. So what is UIID exactly? At its core, you can think of it like your own decentralized digital fingerprint. The big difference? Instead of living on some corporate server in the cloud, it lives right on your phone or your computer. And the key phrase to remember here is absolute self-sovereignty. That means you, and only you, are in control.
Now here's the tricky part. For any of this to actually work, you need a way to prove things about yourself, right? Like proving your age or that you have a certain degree, but without just handing over all that sensitive data. And this is where some really clever cryptography comes into play.
And that clever piece of the puzzle is called a zero-knowledge proof, or ZKP for short. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a magic trick. It's a way to use cryptography to prove that a statement is true without revealing any of the information you used to prove it. You just prove the fact and nothing else.
And this is the perfect, super simple example. Let's say a website needs to know you're over 18. Instead of you giving them your birthday, a ZKP lets your device send a cryptographically secure message that just says, yes, this person is over 18. That's it. The website gets the proof it needs, and you get to keep your actual birthday completely private. It's brilliant.
Okay, so zero-knowledge proofs are amazing, but the theory has been around for a while, and making it work in the real world, that has some challenges. So now we're going to look at how UID's design uses 4 key pillars to take this technology and make it practical, secure, and actually ready for you and me to use every day. So problem number 1, these data honeypots. This is the big one we were talking about earlier. Right now, if you need to get verified for something, what do? You upload your driver's license, your passport, your most sensitive documents to some third-party server, and you're basically just creating this massive target for attackers.
And UID's solution is it's so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. They call it radical data minimization. And here's the key shift in thinking. It brings the verification process to your data, instead of making you send your data to the verifier. Get it? Everything happens right there, inside your local identity vault. Your PII never ever leaves your device.
And here's how that looks in practice. Step 1, a website requests your age. Step 2, your local vault does the calculation on your device. And step 3, the website only gets back a simple true or false. That's all. The risk of a data breach just evaporates, because the data was never sent in the first place.
All right, on to problem number 2, the linkability trap. Now this one's a little more subtle, but it's just as dangerous. See, if you use the same digital ID everywhere you go online, it's super easy for services to connect the dots and basically build a profile of your every move. It completely destroys any real anonymity.
So the solution to this is really clever. It's called a 2-tier decoupled architecture. Here's how it works. You have one private core ID that nobody ever sees. Then, for every single website or service you interact with, you create a new, public, disposable alias.
The magic is that none of these aliases can be linked back to each other or back to your core ID. It gives you total anonymity because every interaction is completely separate.
Okay, but that leads to problem number 3, anonymity's double-edged sword. Because if you have pure unchecked anonymity, that can be a bad thing too, right? It lets bad actors spin up thousands of fake accounts to rig online polls or spread spam or whatever. It's a classic problem called a Sybil attack.
So how do you fix that? UID's answer is something called unique verifiable credential binding. It's a mouthful, but the idea is simple. It links your anonymous identity to a single verified credential, all behind the scenes. It can be tied to a government ID or maybe a biometric hash, but, and this is the key, it uses those zero-knowledge proofs again, so you can prove you are one unique person without ever revealing who that person is.
And this is the result. It's powerful. You get a system that guarantees fairness and integrity, one person, one voice. But at the same time, it fiercely protects the anonymity of every single person in that system. You literally get the best of both worlds.
And that brings us to the fourth and final problem, being trapped in a silo. We've all felt this, right? The frustration of having to prove who you are over and over and over again. You join a new platform and you have to build your reputation right from scratch. Again.
The solution for this is something called sovereign portability, and this is a game changer. The idea is, once you've proven something about yourself, let's say you've earned a trusted contributor badge on one platform, that proof becomes a digital asset that you own. You can literally take it with you to any other service in the ecosystem. No more starting from zero every single time.
So, okay, you solve these 4 huge problems. What does that actually unlock? What does it all lead to? Well, this is where we get into the really big picture stuff, entering what the source material calls the Web4 era. Yeah, the vision here isn't just some small upgrade. It's a complete fundamental shift in how the internet works. We're talking about a web where you have absolute autonomy as a user, a digital society that's actually private and secure, and a world where your reputation and trust are things you truly own and can carry with you wherever you go.
And this quote from the source material just says it all, doesn't it? It is not just an ID. It is the gateway to the Web4 era of absolute user autonomy. See, this isn't about just another app or service. It's being framed as the foundational key, the thing you need to unlock a completely new chapter for the internet. Which brings us to our final section. The future is yours. Because when you strip away all the tech and the fancy architecture, what does a shift like this really mean for us, for our daily lives online?
Look, at the end of the day, a framework like UIID is just a tool. It's a foundation. It provides the privacy, the security, the user control that has been so desperately missing from the internet's basic plumbing. But the really exciting part, that's what we choose to build on top of it. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought, this one big question to chew on. What will we build with an internet that is finally, truly private?